One of the beautiful things about Montessori education is Montessori's philosophy of holistic education. She understood that it was important to educate the child not just intellectually, not just physically, but also spiritually, recognizing that there was an innate and deep desire, even in the smallest of children, to connect with that which was spiritual, to really help them to develop and grow into the best version of themselves. Here at St. Joseph Montessori School, we strive to support that in the child and to support their growth, not only physically, not only intellectually, not only emotionally, but also spiritually. Here at St. Joseph Montessori School, we use the Catechesis of the Good Shepherd model. We can consider it a Catholic framework within which we allow the child to really discover and develop their own personal relationship with God, whatever that looks like. We have children from many different faith backgrounds who come to St. Joe's and who are able to experience the search for beauty, truth, and goodness, what all of us are searching for, even within this framework. We welcome children who come in and say, here at my house, we do things a little bit differently, or we celebrate this way, or this is a wonderful feast that we get to do, and we try and find the connections and the beauty within that. Our atrium is a wonderful environment for the children to come in. Starting in third year Children's House, children will come up to this space and spend much of their time working. Just as Montessori understood that what the child's hands do is what they remember, the work of the atrium, these deep spiritual, often abstract concepts, are brought down to a physical level for the child to be able to learn and grasp. We give the youngest child the most essential truths, seeking to enrich their lives and seeking to allow them to grow in mystery and in symbol and in signs, what much of the Catholic faith seeks to do for adults. But we give them these beautiful pearls, the mustard seed, the pearl of great price, and beautiful parables that Christ gave us, looking at the gestures of the Mass, how the priest uses signs on the altar in order to bring us deeper into the mystery. And then most particularly for the youngest child, the parable of the Good Shepherd, understanding that there is a God who loves and calls each of us by name, and we are to be a part of that flock. Traveling into the level 2 atrium, the child at a slightly older spiritual development, starting to develop more of a sense of morality, really wants to understand the hows and the whys. Why is something a good choice? Why is something not a good choice? So we focus on the parable of the true vine, how each of us is connected to Christ as the true vine, and we are those branches. We seek to make our branches as green and beautiful as they can be, stopping anything that might block the sap of the Holy Spirit from flowing to ourselves. And then how we search for caring for each other on this vine, recognizing that for the whole plant to be beautiful, all parts need to be beautiful. And what do we do to help our brothers and sisters on that vine? In the level 3 atrium, we focus on the typology. We look into the scriptures. We start in the beginning. We start in Genesis and work our way through Genesis, the stories of creation, the story of the Exodus with Moses, of the patriarchs, of the prophets. And we look at how all of these stories, this history, leads us to Christ being born in the world. The child at that age is really interested in where we come from and really interested in that history and how Christianity as it is has come to be. And so we look at the history of the Jewish people as supporting the Christianity today, where that roots, where those come from. In middle school, we take our lessons to a little bit more of an academic plane. We look and we recognize that there are things about the faith that we should know. Being at a Catholic school, we learn the tenets of the faith. We understand some of the rubrics and the rigor. Why are some of the decisions made? I like to think of it kind of a Socratic question or a Socratic dialogue that we offer. Information is given, and then we have a chance to discuss what that is and what that might mean or how that applies to our lives today. Not only do we look at the tenets of the church in that as well, or the tenets of the church and the catechism, we look into the whys and the hows. We also look a bit into the history of the church itself, starting in the Acts of the Apostles, looking to see how we've gotten to where we are from where the church started with Christ. The focus of catechesis really, in a broad sense, is relationship. The entire purpose, the entire point is to allow each child to develop that personal relationship. Montessori truly understood in her idea of cosmic education that each child has a purpose. Each child has something that they are meant to do, that is their work, that inspires the world to be a better place. This idea came out of not only her own Catholicity and her own faith tradition, but also in her studies abroad. Much of her cosmic education came after the time she spent in India and the influence from the Eastern traditions. But this recognition that each child's purpose, in the Atrium we call it their blank page, what it is that they are writing, that they are doing, our goal is to foster that, to help that child find who they are meant to be, and to remind them of that innate self-worth that they have simply by existing and simply as being a child of God. One of our Portrait of a Graduate characteristics here at St. Joseph Montessori is lifelong learner. Montessori understood the importance of constantly striving to learn new things, even as an adult. In that vein, I invite you into the Atrium. I'd like you, if you'd like, to spend some time with a few lessons that we present here in the Atrium, particularly the mustard seed, the Good Shepherd, and the true vine. Spend some time exploring those and wondering with the children what those might mean. You also have opportunities for additional information through Catechesis of the Good Shepherd's United States branch, cgsusa.org. They have wonderful parent pages as well as other resources for more information about the program and about the curriculum that we use. Links for those will be at the bottom of the page. Thank you for joining me here in the Atrium.